college football playoffs are absolutely insane. Uh, what's up, YouTube? This is Goal Line Takes. Welcome into my channel. Today, I really have no plan. I just threw this together. I want to talk about the playoffs a little bit because, man, it's been a crazy playoff year. We started off. Where did we start off? Let's get over here to the playoff bracket. Let me get it where y'all can see it here. Like I said, I literally just clicked record. I'm just winging it here. Let's start. My last video, I just released my playoff bracket predictions. And so far, I bet many playoff brackets, uh, my predictions aren't going too well. I started off predicting A&M to beat Miami. That clearly didn't happen. Picked Ohio State to beat A&M. I picked Ole Miss to beat Tulane, and then I picked Georgia to beat Ole Miss. I had Georgia going all the way. I had them beating Indiana in the championship. That fell through pretty quickly, but yeah, I had Tech beating Oregon. I had Bama beating Oklahoma, Indiana. I'm all right on this side of the bracket. Only got one wrong. Only got this one wrong. On this side, I've gotten one pick right. So it's been rough on this side of the bracket. I had Georgia going all the way. So like I said, not great. I don't even know where to start. I really don't even know where to start. I guess let's start with the JMU Oregon game and work our way down. I kind of just want to go through and give my thoughts on these games, because I haven't made a video since they happened. Starting with Oregon and JMU. Let's see here. Obviously, 51-34. Score is a lot closer than I think the game actually was. I think Oregon definitely took off the gas. Let's look at the play-by-play actually. Oregon, yeah, see, Oregon jumped out to a 34-3 lead very early in this game. JMU scored a couple late touchdowns to make it look close. This game wasn't close. Don't let the box score fool you. Oregon dominated, which they were expected to, but nonetheless, they did let JMU get 509 yards on them, which, I think JMU has a pretty good offense. You got Alonzo Barnett, who is going to be playing a higher level of football. I don't know where he's even projected to go in the portal. Let's see what the news is on him, if there is any, which there's not. 1 year of eligibility left. Okay. Well, interesting. They have some guys. JMU has some good football players on their roster. They gave Oregon a fight at the end, but they actually matched them on first downs. They had tons of penalties. That does make you wonder. 13 penalties is losing football right there. 4 for 4 on fourth downs. Oregon didn't go for any, which is, not what they usually do. They usually are very aggressive on fourth down. 3 for 7 on third down, which really isn't great going against JMU. I don't think their defense is that great. I don't think it's good at all, honestly, when we're talking about a playoff scale. Not much to say on this one, guys. Oregon won. They were expected to win. Their run game, their running back, Wayne Knight, he was running the rock. Definitely shocked me how well they did run the ball. 35 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. But most of those came from explosive Wayne Knight carries, which this kid was just I mean, carry after carry, he was explosive in this game. It went about, Oregon got the win, as you see, like 28 late points. Oregon controlled the game in the second half. They didn't control it well, I guess, but not much to say in this one. Going over to the Alabama-Oklahoma game, this game was interesting. Oklahoma jumped out to a 17-0 lead pretty early. Early in the second quarter. Obviously, Alabama scored quick to tie it before halftime. I guess I'm shocked. I'll be honest, I'm shocked that either of these teams did as well offensively as they did. The fact that Alabama scored 34 points on what I thought was a very good Oklahoma defense, it does shock me. Ty Simpson was fine. John Mateer was he started the game off pretty well, but overall, these two teams, neither of them can run the football. It was a pass-heavy game. Interesting game. Alabama pulled away at the end, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they were down. God dang. 5 straight scores unanswered. That's pretty wild. Yeah, there's not too much to say about this game. The second half was a defensive battle, but Oklahoma's offense looked more like we thought it was going to look in the second half, just non-existent. They had more total yards. I think Oklahoma, this is actually the opposite of what happened in their last matchup. I'm pretty sure Alabama outgained them in every category. In this one, Oklahoma actually outgained them. They did have more penalties for more penalty yards. Both teams were awful on third downs. Both teams went 1 for 1 on fourth downs. Possession was pretty equal. I am shocked. I am shocked that Alabama scored 34 points in this game. But with that being said, it is what it is. It is what it is. That game was interesting. Then you go to Ole Miss Tulane. I'm not going to talk much about this one. Chambliss was great. Lacey didn't get too many carries. When he did get carries, he was good. I think this game was kind of close in the first half. Yeah, 3-17. For a G5 team in the playoffs, it's not too crazy. But Ole Miss pulled away. They pulled away fast in the second half, scoring quick. I've been saying, now, obviously, with what Ole Miss did in round 2, maybe I'm eating my words a little bit, but when Lane Kiffin did leave Ole Miss, I said it is going to affect them. I didn't expect Ole Miss to make it past Georgia in the second round. I don't think he was even their play caller, but just losing your head coach right before the playoffs is not a recipe for success. I also said if they still had Lane, I said Ole Miss is a top 4 team in the country. They are an elite football team. They were elite all season long. Trinidad Chambliss, I've been saying, if he started the entire season, I think he's in the Heisman race. I think he's definitely, I think there's an argument. I think there's an argument after what he did against Georgia where you can say he's the best quarterback in the country. The stats might not be as good as some other people, but you got to keep in mind he didn't play the whole season, and he was playing SEC competition. I really like Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's a really, really good quarterback. And you saw it against Georgia. I didn't expect them to do that when you just lost your head coach. That was crazy. If Lane was still on this team, I thought Ole Miss was a championship squad. That's why I thought him leaving was just the craziest thing. But something got to these players, and they are playing. They might be better than they were when Lane was here, which is crazy to say. Um, Trinidad chambliss. I just want to get to the second round. So let's move on. I said I wasn't going to talk a bunch. Moving on, Miami A&M. What do we got to say about this game? This game was so boring. I mean, really not much to say about it. A&M actually out-yard. They had more yards. They had less penalty yards. They converted better on third down. They did miss a fourth down. I think I remember that. It was a critical play, if I'm not wrong. I might be remembering this wrong. I'm not gonna lie. This game was super boring. Possession is somewhat the same. A&M had the ball a little bit longer. All I remember in this game, Marcel Reed just he didn't play good. And I'm pretty sure I said in the predictions video, Marcel Reed and Carson Beck can make or break these two teams' season. I said Marcel Reed has the better overall squad around him, and I thought A&M was going to get it done in a close game. They didn't. I was wrong. This game was horrible. I mean, 2 field goals all the way until there's 2 minutes left in the game. Just not a great game. A&M almost went down and actually tied it up, though. I'm not gonna lie. I can't even remember this game all the way. I do remember Miami scored that late one, and then A&M tried. They almost got down to score the late one, but either way, Marcel Reed lost the game. Carson Beck didn't, and I think that's what I was kind of expecting. One of those two quarterbacks was going to throw the game away, and it just so happened to be Marcel Reed. Moving on to round 2, guys. Let's start with Oregon. Let's start with Oregon, Texas Tech. I picked Tech to win this one. Obviously didn't happen. I think Tech's defense was fine for most of this game. I mean, 6-0 at halftime is pretty good. Most of Oregon's points actually came late in the game. It was 13-0 going into the fourth quarter, so this is just an offensive, they stalled offensively in this game. They didn't get anything going. They could barely even go first down. I mean, they got 10, but I think I saw a stat. They got like 1 first down in the entire first half. I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly, but it was bad. Oregon just went in and they controlled them. I did think Tech was going to be like a dark horse championship team. I really did. Their defense is elite. I mean, their defense was amazing all season long. Tech always had a chance, but every single time they got close, they almost got close. They got in the red zone a couple of times and threw picks. I think, who was it? Finley? Not Finley. Who's Oregon's DB? Finney. Brandon Finney had 2 interceptions. 2 critical interceptions. He had one in the red zone and one that I want to say got them in. I don't know. I think one got them in pretty good field position, if I'm remembering that correctly. Tech struggled. Tech struggled on offense. Defense, like I said, was great. Overall, Oregon took care of business. I thought Tech was going to be good enough this year. They have a lot of talent coming in for next year's team. I'm hearing they're going to get Cincinnati's quarterback in the portal. I think it's between Tech and LSU. If they do get Brendan Sorsby, I think he's a very good quarterback. I haven't watched his film yet, but his stats were pretty freaking good this year. So we'll see with that one. Moving on to Indiana, Alabama. This game was yet again just, halftime, 0-17, just like the Oklahoma game. Alabama gets jumped on quick. Alabama can't run the football. It's just plain and simple. Indiana didn't even have one of their best defensive linemen in this game. He's injured. I think he's out for the season, Stephen Daly. Alabama still couldn't run the ball. Ty Simpson was your leading rusher with 17 yards. That is just, you're not going to beat Indiana that way. Indiana's good at putting games away, and that's what they did. They just put this game away. I will say this for Indiana's sake. This kid, Charlie Becker, might just be the best receiver on their team. I mean, he came on late in the season. I don't think he even had a catch until... No, he had a couple. He had a couple throughout the year, but this was in like blowouts. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. This was in blowouts. That Penn State game put him on the map. That Penn State game put Charlie Becker on the map. Can I stop clicking on games? I mean, took him really 5 games. He didn't even play in the Purdue game, really. I mean, I think he played, but almost no catches. These 3 games, the Ohio State game, Penn State game, Wisconsin game, this kid took over. And he's one of those receivers that literally he can just do it all. He's 6'4", 204. I didn't even know he was that tall. He doesn't even look that tall on tape. He was like I think he went state for the hurdles, if I'm not wrong. I think he won state for hurdles in high school. Super fast kid, but he can also go up and get the football, which is one like super impressive part of his game. He runs past people, and then Mendoza puts it up high, and you're like, oh god, this is about to get, swatted or something. And then Becker goes and jumps like way up in the air and just goes and snags passes out of the sky. It's crazy. Indiana has a lot of great receivers, but in the second half of the season, I don't think anyone was better than Becker. On this team. And he comes back next year. He's only a sophomore. I think he's a true sophomore, if I'm not wrong. Either way, coming back next year, he's going to be a stud. I mean, is there anything else to say about this game? Oh yeah, Austin Mack. I like Austin Mack, Alabama fans. I think depending on what Ty Simpson does, if he enters the draft, oh well, I heard a report that he might enter the portal. I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Either way, if you do start Austin Mack next year, I think he'll be a solid quarterback. I do. I think he's like 6'6", if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 6'6", 235. He can throw the football. Look at his stats. I mean, he dang near went 80%, 100%, 70%. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. He can also run a little bit for a 6'6" quarterback. If Austin Mack is the future next year for Alabama, whether it's him, Keelan Russell, Ty Simpson, I think they're going to be fine at the quarterback position. If not, if Austin Mack transfers, which, I mean, we'll see. I think Austin Mack can play some really good football for whoever he plays for next year. Let's skip the Ole Miss Georgia game. There's a lot we can say about that. I'm still shocked. That Ohio State was one and done in the playoffs. Didn't expect that. I will say this. Ryan Day is not... He's not a good coach. I'm sorry. That's a crazy take, but I don't think Ryan Day is a good coach. He coaches for Ohio State. I mean, you can pretty much get whatever talent you want there. And we saw it when he was calling plays. He was calling plays offensively in this game because Coach Hartline, their offensive coordinator, took over the South Florida head coaching job, and it was not good. I mean, Jeremiah Smith did everything he could. 160 yards. They actually did outgain. They actually outgained Miami, but I mean, the mistakes. At the end of the day, it comes down to mistakes. Beck didn't have any picks. I can't remember who had the fumble. Was it Tony? I think Tony had the fumble. I think he actually fumbled twice, but I think he picked one up. I mean, Keontae Scott. I forgot about Keontae Scott. That pick six was great. That pick six was amazing. Just jumped the screen pass, took it to the house. I mean, Miami's playing good football right now. They're playing just clean football. They're playing hard, and stopping the run is one thing. Bo Jackson only had 55 yards. How many total rushing yards? Because I know C.J. Donaldson had a little bit. Julian saying they have 42. Jesus. He got sacked a couple times. Cardinal Tate hasn't. I don't think he's really been the same ever since his injury, which came in the Penn State game. Ever since that Penn State game, he's been solid, but wasn't the same player he was in this stretch. I mean, this stretch right here was just crazy. He was very, very good. But, I mean, overall, I think the reason Ohio State lost this game is because Ryan Day can't coach. Sorry. Said it. Like, I think almost every single player on that defense is probably going to get drafted. The O-line is questionable at times. The run, especially the run blocking. But, I mean, every receiver is going to get drafted. Probably the quarterback's going to get drafted. The running back's going to get drafted. The tight end's going to get drafted. Everyone on this team that started is going to get drafted. A bunch of the backups are going to get drafted. The fact that they lost this game just comes down to bad execution, bad coaching. I'll say it again. I don't think Ryan Day. Look, if the 12-team playoff came next year, so this year and last year, if it was a 14 playoff, I think Ryan Day would have already been fired. I think he would have got fired last year after losing to Michigan so many times in a row, and obviously he got it this year, but I mean, Michigan was, their coach was, he had his own problems to deal with. A competent D1 head coach could do what Ryan Day did this year, which is go 11, 12-1, 12-2. Any D1 coach could have done it with that schedule. All right, I guess it's time to talk about the game that probably all you came to listen about. This game was crazy. This game was crazy from start to finish. I guess let's just start with Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, Chambliss, let's go box score real quick. Chambliss completely took this game over. I mean, has a QB taken the game over at all this season? Like, really just taken over a game? I mean, Mendoza, saying to even Simpson, they've made great plays that helped win the game, but they didn't necessarily take over a game. Maybe Pavia might have taken over a couple games, I guess. But Chambliss, he won this game. They would have not won this game without Chambliss. He had one drive in this game that, I mean, every single play, he was making something crazy happen. He had one play where he, flipped the ball out to the back after avoiding a sack. It was insane. The play right after that, he ran 20 yards back into the end zone and then came back and completed a pass for a first down. He was gaming. He was gaming in this one, and I mean, he was incredible. Almost 400 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 carries for 14 yards on the ground. He's more of an improviser, kind of runs around in the pocket or in the backfield. and gets a ball out there. I think it was the play right after that when he threw a dot to, I think it was Wallace. I might be wrong. It might have been Stribling. I really like Stribling. He had a couple plays so far in the playoffs that like really helped Ole Miss out. But I mean, overall, Ole Miss's offense was great in this one. You also have to give Gunnar Stockton a lot of props. That dude took some shots in this one. I mean, he might have taken the hardest shot I've seen all season late in this one. He like jumped up to complete a pass, got hit in midair, and just got laid out, and he got up immediately. I was like, wow. Like, that's wild that he got up from that shot. What else? I mean, the ending to this game was just chaos. They let me go to the play-by-play. Let's see exactly what happened here. Let's go scroll down to this play. Wait. No, so this field goal drive, Ole Miss drove down. This was when the game was tied. Keep this in mind. This game was tied at this point. Georgia went down and kicked a field goal to tie the game. And then Ole Miss went down. They drove down pretty freaking quickly. 5-yard run by Keywan. Pass incomplete. Oh, I remember this one. This was the play when Trinidad made another. He scrambled out again and then threw back across his body, I think, to Kane Lee, and Zion Branch like just. Oh, it actually shows you. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Zion Branch just blindsided Kane Lee and took him straight out. I mean, Kane Lee doesn't drop the ball. This was just a drop, by the way. Trinidad, it was a great pass. And it wasn't like a bad drop either. Zion Branch just laid him out. Then right after that, strike to Jazon Stribling. I don't remember this one. I don't actually remember this one. God, how do I not remember this? Whatever. 40-yard bomb. I probably don't remember it because Chambliss did it so much in this one. Chambliss was trying to get a quick out to Winston Watkins, and Dalen Everett almost took this game away. He almost took this game away. This was a short little out route, and Everett knew it was coming. He jumped the pass, got hands on the ball. He almost had a pick that could have changed the momentum in this game. And I mean, Ole Miss was in field goal range at the time, so it's like that was interesting. That was interesting, but he dropped it. So who knows what would have happened if he caught that. Chambliss, the next two plays, he threw it out of bounds, and then they kicked the 47-yard field goal. This is where it gets crazy. As you can see, 6 seconds left on the clock. Georgia has to do something crazy here. On the kickoff, they immediately, I thought they would have kneeled it maybe and then tried to do the flea flicker play with the offense out there, but they did it on the kickoff. Tried to do a flea flicker. I don't even know what went wrong. I think the ball carrier like slipped when he was trying to throw it back, and the ball rolled the entire 6 seconds out. So the entire 6 seconds on that play, the ball was just rolling. It ended up hitting the pylon, which is a part of the end zone, and went out of bounds, which counts as a safety, which now made the game 39-34. And people were storming the field. The stage, like the Sugar Bowl stage or whatever. They brought the stage onto the field, and they were getting ready to have like the interviews with the coaches and stuff, and then the refs were like, nah, there was 1 second left on the clock when the ball went out of bounds, which in hindsight, technically shouldn't have changed much because it was a safety. So Georgia had to do a free kick pretty much to Ole Miss. Oh, God. So they had to bring the stage back off the field. Everyone had to get off the field so that they could run this last play. Georgia kicks an onside kick to get the ball back but there's a second left on the clock. So they kick it, and Georgia recovers the onside kick. Georgia recovered the onside kick, and trying to think. Since the ball, so they waited. Ole Miss was waiting. They thought a second would just run off the clock and the game would be over. So they didn't even touch the football. Well, Georgia gets the onside kick, and since no one touched the ball, pretty much, Georgia just got it and went straight to the ground. They just fell on it. So no time ran off the clock. That second that was left didn't run off the clock. So now Georgia has the ball with a second left. Everyone actually stormed the field again. They brought the stage back onto the field, I'm pretty sure, because everyone thought the game was over now. And it wasn't, because the ball wasn't actually in play. The ball wasn't live, technically. It was live, but the clock wasn't running yet, because no one had made a play on the ball. No one had made a play with the ball. So it wasn't live. So after all that, Georgia got one last chance to make a Hail Mary. It wasn't a Hail Mary because obviously they were on their side of the field. They had to do like a flea flicker. They got another chance at a flea flicker. And man, it's just insane. They passed it back a couple of times, and I'm trying to even think. I don't even know. They just passed it back a bunch. Didn't work. They barely got any yards off of it. Ole Miss stopped them. There was also a penalty on Georgia, so even if they did get it, it would have came back. It was insane. The end of that game was just insane. And, I mean, yeah, Ole Miss beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, which, personally, I could have never guessed that. I mean, I guess I was very high on Ole Miss. I was very, very high on Ole Miss. I just didn't think Pete Golden was going to do it. I really didn't. I had no faith Pete Golden was going to win this game. But, I mean, they got it done. UGA, I mean, look, 21 points in the second quarter. They were stepping on the gas. I think one problem with Georgia and Kirby Smart that I think this holds him back. Kirby takes his foot off the gas too much. When he gets ahead in the first half, he takes his foot off the gas. That's why you always see him when he's down at halftime. He always wins when he's down at halftime, and he always loses when he's up at halftime. It's because when he's down at halftime, he's being more aggressive in the second half. And when he's up at halftime, he's taking his foot off the gas. And, I mean, if Georgia kept their foot on the gas, I don't know if Ole Miss would have had a chance. But, I mean, Ole Miss is a great football team. I do still think Kirby outcoached Pete Golden, but players are the ones that play the games, and Ole Miss has some players. And Trinidad Chambliss, who would have thought? D2 quarterback last year comes in, and now he's leading his team to the Final Four without their quarterback, which is crazy. Now, I mean, we went over all the games. My predictions were very wrong. I only got one Final Four team. Now let's talk a little bit about these games. I want to start by saying, how crazy is it that Ole Miss or Miami is going to be in the national championship? I mean, how crazy is that? And then Indiana or Oregon, like the fact that one of these four teams is winning a championship is just crazy. Miami hasn't won a championship since 2001, I think. Ole Miss hasn't won since like the 1960s or something. Oregon and Indiana never won a championship. I don't even know if Indiana's ever been to a championship. I mean, it's just insane. Obviously, in hindsight, like Indiana is very good this year. Everyone kind of expected them to compete for a championship this year, but overall for that program, it's crazy that they have a chance at a championship, you know? So the scenarios we get, we're either going to get Ole Miss versus Indiana, which sign me up for that. Ole Miss versus Oregon, which yet again, like I honestly want to see Ole Miss. I want to see Ole Miss win it. I think that would be the craziest storyline. I mean, that would be so freaking wild. And I do actually wonder if any of y'all like know who are watching this video, does Lane Kiffin get a ring if Ole Miss goes and wins it? I actually don't know. I'd assume I think he would actually, but who knows? I don't really know how that works. I assume he would. But then again, he's not with the team in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But yeah, I want to see Ole Miss win it. I want to see Chambliss win it. I think Chambliss, after that game, I mean, maybe it's recency bias, but I've been saying if you go back, I know my other videos, it's all in writing, but if you go back and watch those videos, I'm pretty sure I said in there a couple of times, like Chambliss, I think if he played the whole season, he would have been a Heisman finalist. I think he is arguably the best quarterback in the country right now. There's maybe one or two other quarterbacks in the country who can truly take over a game like Chambliss can. And I don't know if anyone can do it like Chambliss can. I mean, he took over in that Georgia game. Like I said, Ole Miss does not win that game without him. If I had to predict these two games, whoever I predict is going to lose, but you have to go Indiana over Oregon. Indiana beat Oregon the first time around. Which I do want to say, there's a lot of rematches in this playoff race. Like Ole Miss Tulane, they played before. Ole Miss Georgia, they played before. And then Oregon Indiana, 3 rematch. Oh, and Oklahoma Alabama. That's 4 rematches. I mean, you don't see that very often. That 4 teams rematch in the playoffs. But two out of the 3 so far went the other way. Oklahoma beat Alabama in the regular season. Bama beat Oklahoma in the playoffs. Same thing over here. Ole Miss beats Georgia in the playoffs. So maybe Oregon can sneak it out, but I think Indiana is just playing so. They're playing so well right now. They just got a bunch of guys that just do the right things. I don't see a way that Oregon wins this game. If they do, it's just gonna be madness. It's gonna be absolute madness. You have to pick Indiana in this game. I don't know with Ole Miss and Miami though. That's gonna be such a fun game to watch. I usually want to go to quarterback and coach. That, like, in close games, I always go to the quarterback and the coach. I do think Ole Miss has the better quarterback. I think there's a way higher chance that Chambliss wins this game than there is that Carson Beck wins this game. I also think there's a higher chance that Beck loses this game than I do that Chambliss loses this game. But coaching, I'd probably lean Miami. I mean, Miami also has Malachi Tony, who can take over a game. They have a really, really good defense. Keontae Scott has just, he's been dominating. He's been dominating, which as an Auburn fan, I could have never guessed. I mean, he's playing nickel a lot more at Miami, which is just his natural fit. He is a very good nickel corner. But so I guess I can see it, but the way he's playing, the level he's playing at, I wouldn't have guessed that. Obviously, the D line can get after it at Miami, but Chambliss he can, you know, go against it. Like Miami's pass rush, he can neutralize it. He can neutralize their pass rush with his improvising ability. This game is gonna be so interesting. I do think though, I want Ole Miss to win. I really do. And I think there is a chance Ole Miss wins, but I think the right thing to do here, which is crazy to say, because Miami almost didn't even make the playoff, but I think Indiana and Miami are gonna be playing in the championship, which is interesting because this is in Florida, Miami Gardens, the championship game, which is very interesting. I mean, that's dang near home field advantage for Miami. Oh boy. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can say right now is that I think Indiana's going to win the whole thing. I just don't think these other three teams really can stack against Indiana. Indiana just does the right things. They do everything right. They got the players to do it. I definitely have to lean towards Indiana to win this whole thing right now. But man, Ole Miss beat the team that I thought was gonna win it. Miami beat Ohio State though. Like, one of these two teams can definitely win this thing. Like, people are gonna count them out, but there's no guarantee thing right now. This is gonna be so interesting going forward. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this video. This one was way longer than I wanted it to be, but that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on the playoffs so far and going forward. And I think that about wraps it up for the video. So, peace out.